everybody.
Happy holidays, guys.
It is late November. Alexa, pause. It's late November here in Southeast Florida. We have a little bit of a heat wave going on, which just allows us to come back into the pool.
It was 93 today.
And humid.
Yeah.
But we're here delivering another episode of Tea Time. Why not? So here we are, and it's the holiday season. We're in the holiday spirit. And speaking of spirits, I was just in San Diego, and I was through the recommendation of one of the Tequila 101 Facebook members, said I should go to this bar restaurant called La Puerta, which in Spanish means the door. And since I was staying right downtown in that gas lamp district, I went. Now this is located on 4th Street between the Convention Center and Broadway, so it was really easy for me to get back and forth to every day except for one. And yes, in 6 days I was in San Diego, I went to La Puerta 4 times. And the reason why I went to La Puerta 4 times is because I felt welcome. It was a cool place. It was avant-garde inside, and they had nothing but tequila and a really nice menu. And the tequilas they had were nothing but the good stuff. And by good stuff, I'm going to say they didn't even have Patron or Don Julio, which is pretty good. They didn't even have that. They had nothing but all additive-free, really good stuff. And I want to give a shout out to my bartenders, Shaba, Jay, Nick, and Henry, because they were not only educated, but they encouraged you to try different things. And I was like, okay, let me try different things. And in the 5 days I went, I tried over 15 different tequilas.
It's pretty good.
One that stood out is this distillery called 123 Organic Tequila, which we are showing today, and we're going to taste and review here in a minute. But I figured, why not do something like that? And here we are. So why don't you take it away?
A little shout out to the distillery themselves for being organic. The bottles themselves, you could see, are, I guess it's difficult for you to see. I'll give you some close-ups on it. But it's recycled glass. Likewise, the cork is actually real cork, so it pops when you open it, which is fantastic. The paper is recycled paper, and the ink itself is soy-based. And clearly, each has a unique artistic design on the cover of it, really beautiful, and with the numbers Uno, dos, tres, on behalf of the distillery itself. So they have gone out of their way to be pure, to be organic. They actually wait 10 years to have their pineapples, agaves, piñas processed, which is a rarity. And it just adds to the taste of the end product.
Yeah, the piñas are riper. They're more ready to produce a very agave-forward tasting tequila. And the master distiller there, his name is David Ravandi. He spent a lot of his years as being the master distiller at a tequila brand called Casa Noble, which is a pretty good tequila. As a matter of fact, one of the bartenders at La Puerta poured me a shot of the Casa Noble. It was very good. But what David Ravandi did is he bought a bunch of parcels and started planting his agave plants, and then waited 10 to 12 years before he introduced his tequila company, 123 Organic Tequila. And one thing about it is totally green, totally sustainable. It's got a gluten-free and a USDA organic label on the back of the bottle. So it's like the real stuff.
You work hard for this.
He worked hard for this, and we're gonna taste it now, starting with the Uno, which is the Blanco, and I'll pour a little bit for Brooke.
For Quincy wants some.
Oop.
Mr. Quincy Jones.
That might have been a little bit more than
Thank
you want.
You sniff? How's the nose on it?
Here, let's switch because that's got
Okay.
less in it.
Yeah. I'll be swimming in a pool,
Yeah,
upside down.
it's interesting. It's 100% agave forward. You smell that
Absolutely.
agave, but it's bright and light, and it's yeah, I'm going to say this word, colorful. right? I mean, it's got a really bouquet of floral.
Yep.
Doesn't burn the nose.
No, and then we'll pull in for two.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. What do you got?
Very smooth,
Smooth.
very bright. It's the signature. Blanco's always the signature of a distillery.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of their portfolio, and this
Yeah.
one is very elegant.
Very earthy, or as I think the better word is vegetal.
Yes. Yes. But more than that, you also have sweet notes.
Yeah. That's really
it makes
sweet.
you want to have another one.
It makes you want to have another one. You did? Oh, you finished. Okay. Let's go right into the dose, which is the Reposado. And if you've been following us on our Tea Time with Brooke and Steve YouTube channel, you've known that we've come to gravitate towards the Reposados for one reason or another. So we'll try the dose, which is the Reposado expression of 1, 2, 3 organic tequila.
How long was the Blanco process
Oh,
for?
great question. Not processed, but
sorry.
distilled and bottled right out of the distilled, like the copper pots or the stainless steel pots with copper coils. The
It's at 110 proof, right?
well, no, it's at 80 proof, 40% alcohol, and then let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
And the Reposado is aged in oak barrels for 6 months.
And how long is it cooked for?
It's cooked for the agave plants after they're harvested and chopped up. They cook them in stone ovens for 24 hours and then let them sit for another 24 hours to cool down. Hang on.
Gonna rinse out our glasses. Where's Wally?
Here, Wally.
There you are.
Here comes our neighbor, one of our neighbors, in his motorcycle. As I pour the dose, 2. Here he comes. Hear him? Hang on.
I was ready for it. Thank you. How's the nose?
Okay.
It's dramatically different, I think.
Yes.
A little bolder, sweeter.
Got wood notes into it, like oak notes. And our motorcycle neighbor is going to go by here in a second. So while we taste it, see, that's why I like Reposados. You know, if you're a tequila drinker, there's a big spectrum of who likes what, whatever. We like Reposados. It's got a little bit of agave taste, but it also has a wood, oaky finish to it. I like the way it feels going down. It doesn't have any kind of harsh aftertaste.
A lot more color and flavoring
Yeah.
choices than the Blanco. The
Yeah.
Blanco was very nice. It was very smooth. But the Reposado just has a little bit more depth and character.
It's good.
Yeah, really good.
And still bright, light, floral. Again, no additives, so you're getting really good flavoring from the barrels and from the plant itself. Okay, so in the interest of time, we're just going to continue on here. One benefit of having a pool. And we're going to have next the 3, or the trace, which is the Añejo. You can see I've had some already, but
As you know, Añejos are aged longer. And again, they're in wood oak barrels
yep.
and still 24-hour in the wood oven.
No, well, in the wood oven, 24 hours, and then cool down for 24 hours, so 48 hours in the oven. But the Añejos are aged 18 months. This Añejo, David Ravandi, who is the distiller, his formula is 6 months in the barrel. Sorry, 6 months for the Reposado, 18 months for the Añejo. Sorry.
Another thing that they wind up doing is they take the pulp of the
The
piña
piña.
and wind up reprocessing it in the soil, which is an added.
Yeah, why not? It's like organic compost.
Exactly.
Well, I guess what compost isn't organic? Shout out to Uncle Mikey. Anyway, the Añejo, as compared to the Reposado, is a little bit deeper, more complex, I think. That's what I'm tasting. It's more getting towards that bourbon-y type feel to it. You know, a little bit of a burn, but not a harsh burn. It's just an alcohol-y type burn. Still pretty good.
Very good, very smooth. I'm not a huge Añejo fan, but it's a very delicate and tastefully done. You do taste a deeper tequila expression
Yeah,
with this one.
yeah.
And
So they do have an extra Añejo, which I think is aged 3 years. It's called the Diablito, I think. Hard to get for us here in Southeast Florida at this point, but if I ever see it, we'll get it and then we'll review it. But 1, 2, 3 organic tequila. I give the thumbs up, A-OK sign to.
beautiful.
Really good. We like the sustainability of the distillery. We like their vibe, their whole artistic approach to the labeling. And there's really, as far as the tequila, what's not to like?
We were told by a local liquor store that it was difficult to find those too. And lo and behold, we were in Total Wine
Yeah.
down here, and we wound up finding this. We seized it, but it's difficult to find. That's what we've been told. So keep us posted if you're seeing the same thing. My personal favorite would definitely be 2. And how about you, Steve?
I like the Reposado, the Dose as well. Only because, again, we're drawn towards the Reposados. And here's another thing that happens over here in Southeast Florida all the time. We have a helicopter flying above us. So, you might be able to see it, actually.
Enjoy your holiday, drink sensibly, have a lot of tequila, have fun.
Yes.
And let us know what you guys like. We'd like to have some recommendations.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, one last thing. Sorry, I know we're running late. Here's our guy. Here in Southeast Florida, I paid $60 for this, for the Blanco, about 70 for the Reposado, and about 75, 80 for the Añejo. It's a little bit expensive, I think.
It depends where you
But,
live. Some
yeah.
people have seen it. I've seen the Blanco online listed for $39.
Yeah, close to 40.
It's, you gotta shop around.
It's worth it, but again, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Alexa, resume, please.
Cheers. Salud.